you like movies? Do you like hearing random people talk about movies? Well, then you come to the right place. This is Movie Emporium, a podcast where we talk to you about our thoughts of the world of movies and give you our opinions on the past, present, and future of the film industry itself. With me are Adam. How you doing, Adam?
I'm doing okay. How about yourself?
Doing good. You still on that diet?
Nope, I gave it up.
You gave it up? No more bananas
No,
in the tailpipe?
I'm still on it. Oh no, I put bananas in the tailpipe every chance I get.
Excellent, excellent. Good luck with that. Make sure you put them in like Ferraris and stuff like that. So,
Only Toyota Corollas.
oh damn, I better hide my Toyota. Also with me is Rob. How you doing?
Hi, hello, Kermit the Frog here.
Awesome. I'm assuming you're excited for the next Muppet movie.
Yeah! Yeah!
That's funny. Yeah, actually, in a couple of weeks is the Happy Time Murders, which is the Muppet movie that's coming out, directed by Brian Hansen.
Well, I don't really like Brian.
All right. So, if you haven't heard our podcast before, it's we talk movies. We take a topic, talk about it for like 30 minutes or so. This week, Adam is going to go ahead and choose the topic. And what did you come up with, Adam?
I don't remember. No, what was the best movie decade? Why and what movie or what movies would you choose to represent that decade?
Awesome. And since you picked the topic, what did you come up with?
The 1980s.
1980s. Okay.
I picked the 80s. I'm going to list a couple movies for you. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, Big, Terminator, Airplane, Caddyshack, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Evil Dead 2, The Shining, The Natural, Indiana Jones and Raiders, The Little Mermaid, yes, The Little Mermaid, Blade Runner, The Thing, Aliens, Ghostbusters, Scarface, The Last Starfighter, and I could keep on going on and on and on, but the 80s is clearly the best decade, and I would probably end up picking Star Wars, Empire, and Raiders. And I would have to go three Ghostbusters to represent the 80s.
Okay. And what about you, Rob?
Well, I'm going to have to go with the 1910s because
1910s.
of the birth of a nation.
How was that movie?
Well, I'll tell you something. If you want to get this podcast off the air, no, I'm going to go with the 1970s as the best decade for movies because you had things like The Godfather, Jaws, Alien, Taxi Driver, some indie movie called Star Wars, The Exorcist, Clockwork Orange, Rocky, Superman the motion picture, Apocalypse Now, and it could go on and on and on, but I would have to click next on this list I'm looking at, and that's all I could see.
Can I just say Clockwork Orange has one of the most annoying scenes in a movie when he's sitting there in the stupid hospital bed eating. I find that so annoying.
I haven't seen that in so long. I know there's the segment where they're walking down the pier and he just whacks the guy in the balls, which is always fun.
Please do not try this at home. These were all trained stunt professionals.
Yeah, right. So don't do it at home. For my, I was gonna go with the 80s, but since you stole that, I'll pick the 90s. The 90s had like most movies I remember seeing in the theater. I remember seeing like Jurassic Park. I remember seeing Pulp Fiction, Titanic, Schindler's List. Well, I actually didn't see Schindler's List in the theater. Toy Story, Shawshank Redemption, which a couple weeks ago you heard what my grandmother talked about. Matrix, which is I know one of you guys is all-time favorite movies. Forrest Gump, because his name is Forrest Gump. Big
like
Lebowski. What's that?
Forrest Gump.
You like a box of chocolates?
Sure.
Big Lebowski, I know a lot of people like. Usual Suspects, Fight Club, Reservoir Dogs, Independence Day with Jeff Goldblum. Yeah.
Yeah.
Braveheart. Being John. What's that?
I would say definitely like 80s and 90s are probably the majority of films that have made like the most impact on me growing up.
Yeah.
But I would say the 70s has the best films.
Just because of Superman and Star Wars, a hope that is new.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Jaws.
80s has E.T. and the sequel to all those movies that you're listing.
It has the Deliverance.
We don't have Deliverance 2.
It had Barry Lyndon.
We don't have Barry Lyndon 2.
It had 5 easy pieces.
We have 6 easy pieces.
I mean,
They
you
had-
guys are forgetting the '90s. The '90s had like the greatest movie of all time, which was Showgirls.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Elizabeth Berkley's career
Skyrocketed.
died because of that movie.
I own that on DVD. It's somewhere hidden, and I forgot where I hid it.
I own that on free with ads on Hulu
Oh my gosh.
or Vudu, free with ads.
I don't understand what Jessie Spano is doing because she was so intelligent and then she goes to Vegas to strip. I just don't understand that.
Did anybody else have a problem with the way she gave lap dances? She was like, it was almost like somebody glued her lower half to the ground, and then they were like, "See if you could spin your upper body like a spinny thing."
Do you think
she
Kyle
just would, like,
MacLachlan
twirl.
was? I would say, do you really think Kyle MacLachlan was like, when's Twin Peaks happening again? Yeah, like so. Adam, when you pick the '80s, pick 2 or 3 films you think represent the '80s the best, and why would you recommend those movies?
Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, because you would have to be an idiot not to. No, just kidding. I mean, Empire. I mean, how many people have Empire as like their top 3? I mean, me personally, I like A New Hope a little bit more, but I mean, Empire has it all. Has one of the greatest twist lines in all cinematic history
What
with
was the twist?
Darth Vader adopted Luke.
Wait, spoilers, damn it, spoilers.
No.
So I mean, the story behind that is great. Where James Earl Jones and Mark Hamill are the only 2 people that got that script with that line in it. Everybody else got a different script where he does say, I killed your father, but they're the only 2 that actually got the script that says, I am your father.
Right.
And there were so many people there shooting. They're like, what the fuck? Excuse the language. Like, that just happened. Nowadays, you can't keep that, twist down. I'm sorry, it will be everywhere before it was released. But Empire, I mean, overall great movie. Raiders of the Lost Ark, even though Indiana Jones is completely irrelevant in that movie, it's still a great movie. I mean, kicked off so many different sequels. Well, not different sequels, but different other sequels. I mean, yeah, a different sequel would be Temple of Doom, which we all kind of not try to remember that one. But, I mean, it was overall great movie. You had the American versus the Nazis. You had the entire story of just being one man being overwhelmed and essentially facing his demons with the quote-unquote snakes. And then, essentially not saving us all and just having all the Nazis murder themselves. My third one would have to be a Ghostbusters. Absolutely just great movie from beginning to end. You have... I mean, it's just the greatest, one of the greatest lines in cinematic history. When someone asks if you're a god, the answer is always yes.
Yes, this man has no dick.
Yeah. And then one movie I purposely left off my list just to bring it up is Back to the Future, which is probably the greatest written script in movie history. I mean, I know they use that script in a lot of classes to teach students, hey, this is what the perfect script looks like. Just from beginning to end, Back to the Future is amazing. It's a great story. Huey Lewis and the News had a great soundtrack, which is, I think they're one of the most underrated bands. As I'm running backwards right now, you can't see it. I'm explaining to someone sitting on my couch.
Also underrated
for all you that got the
journalists.
reference. What?
They're also underrated journalists.
Underrated journalists. Well, he's also an underrated principal. Don't forget that, because he cuts bands. Great bands.
Exactly.
So, I mean, yeah. I mean, Back to the Future, I would say, would be the one movie. If I had to pick one, with those other 3 definitely saying, hey, you got to watch these.
Yeah, one of the greatest comedies ever made.
The Thing?
The Thing? There we go.
Yeah. Greatest comedy ever made. If you guys want to watch a great comedy, watch The Thing. I know it looks like scary, but it is a great comedy. Just watch it.
I know.
Trust me.
While you're eating like spaghetti or something.
Yes.
Yeah. And just remember diabetes. Will from
Diabetes.
breakfast.
Diabetes.
Rob, what do you have? Like, pick 2 or 3 movies from your decade.
So I got the 70s, and I'm not going to pick Star Wars because it's kind of a given or whatever. And I actually don't think Star Wars is the best movie of the 70s. I would say that the first one I'd probably pick is Alien, which sort of, in a sense, well, two films in the 70s kind of like redefined horror, and that would be Alien and The Exorcist.
2 great comedies.
And, yeah, two great comedy films. Especially like when in the Alien they were in the diner and the chest burster bursts out of his chest and the other guy was like, "Did he have a super special?" And then the alien ran across the bar and was like, "Hello, my baby. Hello."
Oh my god.
Like that was the best part of Alien.
That's funny.
But so you have Alien and you have The Exorcist, and they kind of redefined horror. And then you have Jaws, which really kickstarted Steven Spielberg's career, and was potentially, I guess, supposed to be a horror, but since they couldn't get the shark to working, it became like this genius movie by accident.
Yeah, that was incredible to watch in the theater because, like I was telling people, you see Robert Shaw just go from, like he's ready to take down this shark to going, holy shit, this shark is a fucking animal. It's like we'll stop at nothing.
Yeah.
And Jaws has a lot of great, like, it's a great movie to study if you're wanting to be a director because Spielberg sets up these really long shots. He does great at introducing characters, especially the way Shaw is introduced when he like scrapes the chalkboard, and his whole monologue, which I think was I'm not an expert on Jaws, so I think that was all improv, or he wrote it like just before they started shooting because it wasn't in the original.
Yeah, I can't remember if he heard or he was experiencing Indianapolis, but it was some kind of life experience or something like that.
Yeah. So then the other one I would probably pick is Rocky, because which is just like a classic. A lot of people, like, before I showed my wife Rocky, she always was like, I never watched it because I'm not a big boxing fan. I don't want to watch a boxing movie. And I'm like, it's really not a boxing movie.
Yo, Adrian, I'm gonna beat this meat.
So when I showed her, she was pleasantly surprised with it.
Oh man.
So, picking Rocky, what do you think of the new Creed 2 coming out with him fighting Drago?
It looks okay. Not a big fan of them bringing Drago's son. It seems a little too like ham-fisted.
I got my loyalty.
Yeah, I like the first Creed. I kind of would have liked to see like the Mr. T character in this one, not like the son of Mr. T. Was it Clubber Lang, if I remember correctly? Was the name of his character?
His son Blubberlang?
No. No, but we could see like that character, the one that actually really tests him and pushes him to his limit before he gets into the Drago fight.
But I mean, the 70s, it brought us some of the movies that are like always at the top of, the greatest of all time movies, with The Godfather, with Taxi Driver, with 2001, A Space Odyssey. And really, it also brought us maybe one of the greatest movies of all time. It's not on my top list because it really transcends a lot of top lists, and that's the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yes, I own that movie. That movie's amazing and terrible at the same time.
Yeah, it's probably the pinnacle of good bad movies.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say that Debbie movie in Dallas, since I think that was the 70s.
And she does something apparently.
Yeah, she does something.
Yeah.
Something related to JFK.
JFK.
Or not JFK, Nixon.
Nixon.
John Nixon.
Oh my god, terrible. Okay, so I'll add in 3 movies. This is like a really hard list to break down because the 90s has some they had a lot of fucking films that I remember and enjoy. I'm gonna just stick with I'm not gonna do Shawshank because we all love Shawshank. We all know what it's about. It's a great movie.
It's about a prison break.
Yes. It's a romantic comedy about 2 men in a cell.
It's about birds.
Rom-com.
Yeah. One of them is they're queens. It's good times.
Oh, it's a Queen movie, like Priscilla, Queen of the Desert
Yeah,
type
yeah,
movie.
exactly.
I thought they played football against like the guards.
Yeah, it was something like that. I think Adam
Football,
Sandler was in it at some
devil.
point. I can't remember. But the first movie I'm gonna pull out of my ass is the Truman Show. Um,
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and good night.
Pulled it out of your ass.
yeah, pull it out of my ass because I'm like it's just trying to come up with movies is hard on this decade. Truman Show is a great movie that actually is very relevant in today's society with social media and being filmed at all times and not knowing you're filmed at all times, that type of thing. So I really enjoy that movie. I think it's one of Jim Carrey's best movies he's ever made that he didn't get nominated for.
Did he get nominated for The Majestic?
He did not.
I actually really like The Majestic.
I did too, and nobody else liked that apparently for some weird reason. Another movie I'm gonna pull here is The Matrix, which is probably one of the most not career defining, one of the most
Defining.
yeah, we'll just thank you.
Cinematic.
Cinematic defining movies of the last 100 years, just because of what it did with its camera work and visual effects, and how it basically created a classic in special effects.
He slowed down bullets.
Exactly.
It imprinted itself on pretty much every like action film that came after it for what, like the next 6-7 years maybe.
Yeah.
I think it's still a lot of the. I mean, look at John Wick. A lot of those fight scenes are.
Slow mo kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. It brought us Battlefield Earth, the greatest cinematic achievement ever made since man created the weapon.
I'm walking away now.
You're walking.
I'll say this about Battlefield Earth. I watched that movie before I ever heard any jokes about it being like a terrible movie, and I didn't think it was that bad. But maybe that's because I also watch movies like The Room and Story of Ricky and
Riccio?
Movie Bull, yeah, and like I watch all these really like extremely terrible movies. So when I see like Battlefield Earth and people go, "Oh, it's the worst movie ever made," I'm like, I don't think you've seen a lot of bad movies.
I did not hit her. I told you I did not hit her. Oh, hi, Mark.
This is a real Hollywood movie on a Hollywood set. Fucking, I can't get through The Room, but that shit's funny. Actually, my cousin, when I interviewed him, unfortunately, it's gone to crap. But the interview, he talked about Samurai Cop 2. He worked on the set of that movie.
I was just about to bring that up, Samurai Cop.
Yeah, he was telling me all the crazy stories about how it was Tommy Wiseau wanted to. He didn't want to die at the end of Samurai Cop 2 because he wanted to come back and be like a full-fledged ninja. So I thought that was always pretty funny. That's a pretty funny story. But let's see. The last movie I'm going to talk about, if I can remember what it was
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, what the fuck? We'll go Jurassic Park because that is like that is a visual defining movie of the decade. That took visual effects to a whole new level. You guys have everybody's seen that movie. They know how when the Brontosaurus, Brachiosaurus, whatever they call it now. You see old white man in a beard go, "Welcome to Jurassic Park." It's just
You're all gonna die.
Yeah.
I think they brought the Brontosaurus back.
Well, then they killed it in the smoke and flames and.
I mean, like, for a while they said that the Brontosaurus didn't actually exist as a dinosaur. And I think they found like a new species and they gave it the Brontosaurus name.
Nice. Did it have feathers and a low rumbling voice?
No, it had a high-pitched voice and it wore sequins.
Oh, nice. So it was
The Brontosaurus, because I could have swore at one point someone summoned it with a coin and then jumped inside of it and then like connected with a bunch of other dinosaurs. Did that happen?
I get. Oh my god!
I remember a giant turtle that shot other dinosaurs at like monsters.
That sounds like a Ralph Bakshi movie.
Let's see. There was a.
Speaking of the 90s.
What's that? Cool World? Please tell me you're gonna talk about Cool World.
Cool World.
Cool World.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah, and the right. Ralph.
Don't you know what happens when someone's murdered in the real world by a tune?
Or You know what happens when you sleep with doodles?
Oh no.
No, actually, I was gonna say this is also the decade of the startup of Pixar. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, with the Toy
When
Stories.
they very nicely left Disney.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But did you guys have one more film you wanted to talk about before we end?
Um, Another film I think worth mentioning from the '70s is Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh
Yes.
my god. Yes.
There it is. Where behind the rabbit? It is the
Rabbit.
rabbit.
We're not gonna go there. That's a silly place.
What is your quest?
I
What?
am an enchanter.
What is your favorite color? What is the land speed of average land speed of a swallow?
What?
African or European? Well, I don't know. No one's ever.
Tim the Enchanter. On the count of three, we'll pull the holy hand grenade. Oh man. Did you have one more film there, Adam?
If I had to choose one, I would have to go E.T.
E.T.
Spielberg again. It's amazing how much Spielberg has like influenced movies from the '70s to even today. Just one director or producer, or whatever his role is behind, behind the scenes, how much
Not
he's
so much
influenced. But yeah, I mean, E.T. Great movie. Drew Barrymore pretty much got her start right there.
Which ET stands for extraterrestrial.
Yes, in case anybody did not know that, E.T. the extraterrestrial is actually extraterrestrial, the extraterrestrial.
Which means that he's not from Earth.
Really? Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought
unlike
E.T. meant enema transporter.
no,
Well,
no.
that too.
It means extreme transporter. It was actually the prequel to the transporter.
Well, you see, the reason that ET is brown is because
Oh my
Enema
God.
Transporter
Oh my God.
is what it stands for.
I thought it was because of the anal probes.
It could be. I mean, he was in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, so, I mean, who knows what was going on in that crazy little world.
ET was in the Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
Oh,
you didn't know
it
that?
was.
Yeah.
He's like,
I forgot
He's
about
in the
that.
Senate.
yeah, he somehow knows how to say no confidence.
No. And unlike cats and dogs, ET aliens can eat chocolate.
Exactly. All right, let's end this shenanigans. So we didn't do it the last couple weeks, but do you guys have any recommendations of stuff people can watch? Adam?
Let's see. There's a cool short called Focus that just actually won another award.
I heard that. I heard that
about
short's terrible. You should tell that
about
guy that
2
he's a
weeks
terrible
ago.
director.
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago, it won another award at I think it's One Reel Film Festival, Robert.
Yep.
We just won another award with that, so you can definitely check that out at Robert's YouTube page. But yeah, I would have to definitely say I'm going to stick with the '80s. If you haven't seen Caddyshack, great movie. And then also, if you're looking for another great movie, I would definitely say Airplane, great comedy. Leslie Nielsen, great in it. So I would definitely recommend Caddyshack and Airplane from the '80s.
Surely you can't be serious, Adam.
I'm always serious, and don't call me Shirley.
There you go. How about you, Rob? Have anything to recommend?
I would say that if I was going to stick with the recommendation for something from the '70s, I would recommend Chinatown for those that haven't seen it. It's pretty good. And Dirty Harry.
Ooh.
Those are a couple of. I mean, I'm sure a lot of like people that are listening that are like movie buffs has probably seen both of those, but people that haven't like checked out a lot of older movies, if you like crime movies, those are two you could do worse than.
You know, Robert, you just reminded me when you said China. 1980s, if you want to see an outstanding movie, it's called Big Trouble in Little China.
Yes, actually, that's coming to Epic here soon, or it has played in Epic already.
Outstanding Kurt Russell movie. I mean, it is amazing. It's a John Carpenter film. It's great. I really hope they don't remake it with The Rock.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Oh, and for those that are fans of the hit TV series Westworld in the 1970s, you could go back and you could watch what the series is based on, the movie titled Westworld. I think that if you watch it, if you really love the series, you will not be disappointed.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. That is amazing.
Yes. Rob, you win the week. I will give you a shiny gold coin later on.
One shiny gold coin.
Exactly.
How big is it?
It's as big as your head.
That's a lot of gold.
I know. I had to press it myself. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and recommend L.A. Confidential. If you haven't seen it, great movie with Russell Crowe and Guy Pearce. Great noir detective story. Actually, my favorite movie that came out that year, and one that's not set in my decade, but I just watched today after a while is L.A. Confidential. Is Lost in Translation with Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson. It's an incredible movie. It looks at two people lost in Japan, like they don't know what to do with themselves, and they kind of bond and all that stuff. So definitely recommend that.
Does she play an alien that like brings men back to her house and then drowns them in an imaginary pool?
I think so, but I think that's the unrated NC-17 cut. I could be wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think you're.
He's a washed-up commercial man. She's out for a good time. Together they're in Japan, where none of them speak Japanese. They are lost in translation.
God, I really wish Kermit would come back.
They are.
What?
All right, Rob, where can they find you if they want to reach you?
Oh, well. I can't do it now. They can find me on Instagram at Cell Reborn and on YouTube at Robert Dodrill.
Awesome. What about you, Adam?
I'm right behind you! No, I'm just kidding. I guarantee you somebody looked out there.
I need new underpants.
Oh, my God.
You can find me here or there, essentially anywhere where someone needs help. I'll be there.
I need to know.
Being the one that causes that person to need help.
You are the knight.
Or you can find me at 8283 Productions on YouTube and Facebook.
All right. Well, you can find me nowhere but everywhere. I'm like an atom. I split when I have to. But
Pick up a rock and I'll be there.
exactly. But you can find me at Big Shadow 1138. Find us at YouTube, Twitter, Emporium Movies, YouTube, of course, and all that good stuff. Rate, subscribe. So with that, we'll go and head out, and we'll see you later. Peace.
Bye, everybody.
That's right. Jesus Christ.